Cheers. You got to look in the eyeballs, don't you?
Yeah, and drink.
Gorgeous.
Kia ora. Well, thank you so much for chatting to me today, Foley, and welcome back home as well.
Thank you.
I wanted to start, if I may, by asking you to kind of take me back to the beginning. Tell me how Foley came to be.
Way back when.
Yeah, so it's not that long ago.
Yeah, we're not
wink,
that old.
Wink. No, but it came about. We've been best mates for ever and ever and ever, and we've both been involved in music to various degrees. And the reason that we started writing together was because we both discovered that we kind of loved pop music, like a little bit secretly, because at the time we weren't writing pop music. And we came together with this kind of sneaky idea of like, hey, maybe we could try and do this. Like maybe we could try and figure out how pop music is made. And like, we got a bit obsessive over the structure and the melodies and all of that kind of thing. And we slowly started writing these songs, which were terrible. But over the course of time, I think it was about a year of writing, we like kind of refined the craft a little bit. And then we got to a place where we were like, I think this might actually be quite good. And then, put out our first single with the help of some very talented friends. And
The rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah. But we've been lucky because along the way, like we've met so many amazing other writers and producers and like people that have really taken us under their wing as well. Like especially at the start, we were just like, we couldn't have been more fortunate to have people just be like, okay, come here, this is how you do things, this is how you, even like from the perspective of us not really knowing much about pop music and like we were just listening to so much pop and getting really obsessed. Excuse me. And then pop writers that we kind of knew were working in the space, like just welcomed us into their studios, and we wrote with like Josh Fountain and Jason Shushkoff and all these people that just like didn't know us anything, didn't have to be kind to us, but were really great. So we're really lucky.
I love to hear it. And you two clearly have, if I may say so myself, like undeniable chemistry. Like you have great chemistry. You know, you hear it in your music, can see it on stage. Like, I mean, do you think that is a part of what makes Foley as well? Like understanding one another?
100%, yeah. I mean, like, it's such a hard industry to be in, and it is hard to make something creative and then commercialize it. And that process is pretty grueling and pretty intense. And I don't think either of us would be, I certainly wouldn't be up for that without somebody on the other side of it with me that, like, you genuinely have to have so much trust and love. And we make it fun for each other, you know, because it's got to be fun and creative and experimental, and, you know. So I definitely think like that's the bedrock of what Foley has been the whole time, because the sound has changed, the process has changed. You know, we've been in different parts of the world, like so much around us has been different. But yeah, our friendship at the heart of it, and like that creative chemistry and that trust between us is like kind of the whole shtick, if you will.
And you said your sound has changed, so you've released earlier this year your latest EP, Like an Actress. To me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels, it's obviously undeniably pop, but it feels maybe a little bit looser, a little bit kind of more raw. Tell me about that compared to some previous projects.
Wow, I mean, the two full-length records that we've done, I think those processes were a lot different to the CP. We, as I mentioned earlier about the sort of finding the pop structure and finding the right way to do things and figuring it all out, we've always been relatively obsessed with like packing in a lot of detail and figuring out like, okay, cool, well if the guitar tone is that, then we can do this like little production thing on the side and we can get really intricate and like and detailed and beautiful with it. And that was our approach for, I would say, the first record. And then over time, like as we've developed as writers and players, like we've become a lot more trusting in ourselves and our writing duo and writing with producers and writing with the whole sort of collaborative world that we've built with Foley. And it's meant that the most recent stuff has become a lot more organic, a lot more like acoustic driven, because that feels like very easy and natural. And it's become an exercise in going with your like initial idea and like fleshing that out to the best it can possibly be, rather than big conceptual like here's an idea, let's run it home, let's like listen to it about a billion times and like absolutely figure out, which there's nothing wrong with, because there's some beautiful songs that we made with that methodology, but this one has felt very very easy breezy and fun, you know.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of reflective of where we're at in our lives. Like, we kind of went through this change of moving to Australia and our personal lives being so, you know, just so much change in that space. So I feel like we even more so needed Foley to be easy and feel good and like not feel too meticulous, because I think sometimes we have a tendency to write the song, get it to a really good place, and then just keep going on it. We just keep going and like can never let anything rest. And not so much now, but in the past we've definitely have done that, like over polished, where you kind of lose that magic. So I think with this, it was like we kept having experiences in the studio where something would come together really fast and really well, and we were purposefully like, okay, let's let that be, like, let's not make it all too perfect and too gridded and too like robotic, I guess. So yeah, it's been fun.
I love it. And you mentioned kind of, you know, like going with your gut and trusting that that's right. Honey has hit number one on a bunch of different tracks here in you know, streaming charts here in New Zealand, radio charts. Does that kind of give you that reassurance, I guess, that this is a cool direction, you know?
It does, yeah.
That's the first number one on the radio that we've had, so I guess you would say it's a pretty good indication. Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's like, it's funny because you obviously don't write things with that sort of stuff in mind, you know, and it's, when it happens, it's just like this juicy, gorgeous moment of like, wow, it worked, and that's awesome. Yeah. But I think regardless of the results, you know, you make stuff, you put it out, you're already making the next thing, and you kind of, you know, we try to not let that influence what we make next. Like, we don't want to now go and make another Honey. We're just kind of already thinking about how can we evolve it and do something else that feels exciting to us. So, but it is great. It's really cool. Like, it was really fun to have that happen, and it's nice.
No, you're right though, and I think that you mentioned a big change, which is literally moving countries, and I think if you can make your creativity in this thing that is Foley kind of be your escape and be where you find that like joy and fun, and not, you know, do it for reaching number one, then I think that's often where the magic happens as well. So tell me about that moving from New Zealand to Australia. Sydney?
Yes. Yeah. It's been great. I mean, we love New Zealand. Like, we had no, we weren't like running away from New Zealand like, oh, we need to get out of here. It was just felt like we had, I guess, well, I should just say for me personally, I wanted some more kind of creative influence around me. Like, the community here is so amazing, and we had so many great artists around us that we love, that we'd been influenced by for a long time. So I think for me it was looking at what are the inputs kind of, and I just wanted to have some new artists around, some new, all types of art, like visual art, dance. I think Sydney for us has just exposed us to a new community of those types of people, and it's just been so great. It's just like filled the creative cup so well, but we're back in New Zealand so much that it's nice. It feels kind of like one foot in each country, which is like really great because we love it here and we love it there, so we're like a trans-Tasman.
Yeah, it still feels at home here. Australasian, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Is Aotearoa still home? Like, is that at the end of the day where you...
100%, yeah.
Cool.
Definitely still home.
Nice. And
End of last year, end of 2025, you were in South Korea doing a tour. Tell me about that. Crazy.
Well, I mean, that's probably our third home, I would say. I loved Korea.
Hey, don't get too greedy.
Yeah.
What can we have?
Oh my God, it was magic. Like, we had been sort of meaning to go over for a while, or like kind of loosely thinking about it, because we had a track that went relatively viral over there, and we kept getting tagged in a bunch of like K-pop idol posts. Like, they'd use the audio and would see all these things, and we'd ship a bunch of merch to Korea, and we'd be like, where is this going? And so anyway, we dug into it and found out there's this beautiful like community of Foley fans over there. And so when we went over for the shows, like we finally got to meet everyone and see all of that merch that we'd shipped over from back in the day, and you know, just hang out with them and like meet all of the artists around that community as well. And we did a bunch of writing sessions, and it was honestly so beautiful. It's such a beautiful country. We felt so welcomed as well, like at all the venues they really look after you. We were going out for dinner with the owners and things like that. Like it was really, really beautiful, and cannot wait to go back.
Amazing. And you went over, I believe, with another New Zealand artist, Paige.
Yeah.
Sure did. Sure did. Shout out, Paige.
How cool. That's cool that you get to kind of do it as like a wee community, right?
Yeah, it was nice. It was like going over together, hand in hand, like kind of figuring it all out together. And yeah, I mean, that I think was one of my biggest kind of like pinch me moments, because obviously you have heaps of amazing things happen, and it's really cool, but getting to go somewhere like South Korea that I never would have dreamed that our music would be taking us there. Yeah. It's just so cool, and you can never really see those things coming. Like something pops off for no reason, and it's just then you're on that path. And yeah, it was so cool. And I think Paige is the same. Like she's got this amazing audience over there, and it was cool just because she's our friend. Like seeing her meet all her fans was such a buzz as well. So it was great. It was awesome.
And like as you kind of said, something pops off for no reason. Like the world of social media and music at the moment is just crazy, and you guys do social media so well. Like, do you? Obviously, that's a great example of it working in a positive way. But do you, I guess, struggle having to maintain such a kind of like presence online?
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. I think it's that meeting of the creative and the commercial, and I think what's hard is social media can be such a great creative outlet, I think. And I love discovering artists, you know, as an audience member, like discovering artists I never would have come across. And it's great in so many ways, but I think it's like an internal expectation to post a certain amount or do whatever. You can quickly lose sight of the goal of connection and instead start to be like, well, we have to do this many things and get this many interactions or whatever. And yeah, I think we just have to check ourselves sometimes and remember that the reason we're on social media is to find people that are going to connect with the music, not just to kind of hit a certain amount of numbers. But I think that's every artist at the moment, is juggling those things and trying to use it as a tool without, you know, losing their minds, because it's a vibe.
Basically, that sums it up, right? Yeah, it's so hard, because it's maintaining that balance as well of being like, this is what we do because we absolutely love it, but then there's this amazing tool that can get what we love in front of more people who might like it, but you've got to go easy on yourself as well, otherwise it will consume you.
Yeah, I think it's the only like challenge in like the music industry's history where there's the potential to reach real people for free. And people that will care about you and that can support you without having to go to a label, without having to go through any other third party. It can just be you, but you are fighting a very uphill battle sometimes.
Literally. And speaking of, what caught my attention recently from your social media was clips from your cinematic music video. That was so cool. Tell me about that.
It was fun. Oh man, we just had this crazy idea. It was just born of the first line of that song, right? Last night we broke into a stadium and we went, well, we have to do a video like that.
We have to break into a stadium.
Right? We have
no choice.
Yeah, and so we just, it sounds so quaint, but we got a stadium and then filmed a video in it. Like, it's just
quaint.
No, it's just no. It's no, because it's like saying it out loud is so nuts. It is just something you can do.
Yeah, you can just get a
like
stadium.
We just emailed a bunch of people and there was one available and you're like, okay, let's do it.
Very strange.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. What stadium? Are we allowed to say?
It was in Sydney. It was, what's it called?
Sydenham Park, I think.
Pass.
Yeah, Sydenham Park, I think.
Okay, I believe
It was
you.
it was the home of the like Sydney Portugal soccer club or something, football club.
God, I don't
Anyway,
I was not very observant on the day, apparently.
yeah, and we shot it with this guy Harley over there who we've been shooting a bunch with, and he's an amazing creative in his own right, and it was just such a lean team, you know? and we just had a lot of fun. We were like, what if we do a shot like this? What if we do a shot like that? I think we had one light and one camera.
It was crazy though, because there was like this kind of light drizzle at
Yeah.
certain points during the night, because we only had a certain number of hours in there that we like could really do it in to keep the light kind of similar. And yeah, there was a few moments where the rain kind of started coming, but it was at this perfect amount that looked really cinematic on camera. And was kind of, and also we weren't expecting the rain, and I'd happened to do like a slick hair kind of moment, which was perfect, because if I'd had my hair all zhuzhed, it would have been a nightmare.
It really came together.
But it did. It was like one of those magic things where all the details, even the things that weren't planned, just kind of locked in. And yeah, Harley, the director and videographer, is just like amazing, and it just was really fun. It was really fun.
Love it. So you had a videographer, you said you had a lean team.
Yeah.
Is kind of DIY, for lack of a better word, I feel like that's kind of like part of your fabric as such. Like, is that correct? You used to do a lot of your own music videos. Have you now got teams working with you on that? Like, what has that kind of progression been like in terms of like the visuals behind your music?
Yeah, I mean, I think more so than DIY, our ethos around the visuals has always been that we want to collaborate with people that have new, exciting ideas. And often, I think the way that we perform best on camera is when there's not too many people and like a huge production. That can be really intense and really stressful, and I don't know, it can like put you on display. I mean, obviously you know it's going to be watched by lots of people anyway, but there's something about being on set with too many people watching that I think just like freaks us out a little bit. So I think from the start, I mean, we definitely did a lot of stuff ourselves at the start, and we've still made lots of like visualizers ourselves and shot on the camcorder and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to music videos and I guess like the more intentional things that are building the world, we just like working with people that kind of muck in and get it done, you know, and have that sort of raw feeling where there's an energy on set, because it's all kind of happening quick and it's not so planned where it's, you know, this is shot 1, this is shot 2. It gives you that ability to just kind of go with the flow and see what happens and see what looks cool. So I think we've always approached it that way, and the best things that we've made have come from that kind of vibe, I think. I don't know if you would agree.
Yeah, totally. It's always been about like embracing other people's ideas as well. You know, we've always been very intentional in the like wider universe and creative visual thing that we're building ever since the first single, but getting to bring those people on and develop that world a little bit more is always really exciting. So I feel like we've found a good few people now. We've worked with a few times, and yeah, loving it.
And your crew.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of creative world that you're building, what 3 words if you would describe what that is?
Ooh. Gosh. That is so hard. Okay. No. I mean, I love it. I'm just like 3 words. I think. Okay, I'm gonna use this as one word. This is hyphenated. I would say 1 is like freedom of expression, or it could just be freedom.
Yeah.
I feel like freedom of expression
only works if you've got 2 words.
Oh no, I'm going freedom hyphen expression.
I see it. It's fine.
Freedom of
expression. Okay, we can just go freedom. No, I feel like visually and in the music, we always want it to feel free and real. Like, I think with freedom comes genuine, authentic performance or whatever, because you're actually just expressing what is genuinely going on, as opposed to, I guess, doing something really polished all the time, or something that's, I guess, maybe less free, you know? So I think freedom is 1. You look shocked by that, Gabe.
No.
He's like, within the rules, rigid.
Yeah. Effervescence, quite a nice word.
Ooh.
And I feel like everything we put out has lots of layers and little deeper meanings, and a lot of them,
bubbles.
a lot of them, you know, little bubbles that you can explore.
Yeah, cool.
I'm just becoming very aware that this is a 3-word answer and we've turned it into a few sentences.
So freedom,
No, I love it.
effervescence.
Inclusion.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I think it's all very accessible. Like I think distilling emotion and creativity down into its like most accessible form is like pop music in general, right?
Yeah.
So I think we're not out here. I think we're always trying to push an envelope and push a boundary with that kind of stuff, and so we'll challenge the norms a little bit in terms of like the pop visual aspect, as well as the music.
But also, I think when it comes to the wider universe, I absolutely concur on inclusion, because it's for the live show and what we're trying to, like the way we interact with the people that like our music is very intentionally about making it feel inclusive and making it feel like a real community.
Yeah.
It's, going back to social media, it is hard sometimes to feel a real genuine connection in those spaces. So I think everything we're doing, we're trying to drive it to real people coming together in a space, whether that's for the shows or like fan meetups and hangs and like all that kind of stuff. And like we recently sent a bunch of our fans postcards and like something physical and tangible that feels real, because less and less things are in a physical space and are more online. So community is so important to us, and fans meeting other fans. Like last night at the show, there was a bunch of people that all kind of met each other, and I was walking to get a drink in incognito mode, and I heard like one person like compliment another girl's outfit, and they were talking about where they got stuff, and it was just like, this is the vibe, we want people to meet and have fun, and obviously it's about the music, but it's about like how it brings people together. So inclusion, number 3.
I love that. And that's perfect. I think personally, I feel like that is one of the most beautiful parts about music, is like people can find, you could be, to use religion, you could be Christian, Muslim, you could not believe in anything, but you could still all love the same song or feel something from the same song, and I've always thought that is so special. So
That's the whole thing.
it is. In terms of kind of distilling, like you said, a feeling, or a feeling into one song, for me, Smooth It Over, instant serotonin injection. Like literally for years, if I feel like shit, if I've had a bad day, I'm like, smooth it over, bam. It's so cool. I don't know what is in that song, but for me it's like magic. Hard out. No, it's so good. But I feel like a lot of your music, like it kind of does tend to elicit that, like you could have a bad day, but it picks you up instantly. Like, I guess, is that the aim a lot of the time?
Totally. Yeah, totally. I mean, we all need a little bit of a break and an escape. Like, we all need those moments of fun. Either you're having a really great day and you put on a great song and you feel even better, or you're having a bit of a tough time, you put on a great song, it peps you up. Like, either way, I think that's a great thing to be able to do for people, and it's so nice when we hear that people use a song to feel good, or like they're going through a breakup and they listen to one of the songs and feel seen, or like whatever it is. I mean, that is just like the coolest thing. It's just the best. So I definitely think that's intentional, to try and make people feel good.
I think at the heart of it, it's just they're all extrapolations on like conversations that we've had. It's just our lives, and the ups and downs of all of that gets distilled into the music, and it's quite freeing. It's like escapism, but it's all grounded in reality. So it's you can feel it. We're not running away from anything, but we're not trying to solve anything either. We're just putting it out into the world and having a bit of fun with it.
I like that you just said freedom, because that was my number 1.
Little callback.
Freedom of expression.
Hyphen expression.
Bit of a tangent, but I did want to ask about your sync marketing. Have you had music on the Kardashians ages ago? Is that right? Yeah. Is that still in? an active thing? Like, tell me how that happened.
It's still on Disney Plus. I had to roll it back the other day because I was like, did that actually happen? No, I don't.
Subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch it.
Yeah. That did happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've had some cool ones. We've had we were on the Netflix
My Life with the Walters.
My Life with the Walters Boys. We did an Uncle Ben's ad a while ago, ages ago. We've had lots of fun things. It's been cool. I mean, that just came about basically our label who represented that music, just pitching it out to various shows, and they picked it. And when we found out about it, we thought that they were just using an instrumental section somewhere in the show. We didn't really. You don't see it before it comes out. And then we sat down to watch the episode together thinking it'll be in the background of something.
Yeah.
And then it starts the season finale with the song, and it's a montage of every single Kardashian, and I was just screaming. It's just so funny because it's one of those things it's not on the bingo card.
Yeah.
It's not a goal that we had to be in keeping up with the Kardashians. But when it happens, it's just it's just cool and random and fun, and sync is fun. Sync is great. Yeah.
So cool. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's how you had some fans in Korea. Who knows?
Well, this is the thing. You never know. Yeah.
Love. And then, I guess to wrap, my kind of final question is, what's Foley's dream?
Ooh. So many dreams.
I think we've always aimed to reach people where they are and just express ourselves in the most pure form and celebrate the friendship that we have and the friendship that people have with each other. It's all about bringing people together, and as I've mentioned, that pure sort of ethos of pop is to distill universal emotion and universal thoughts and feelings into a very accessible format, and continuously striving to perfect that craft has been really fun, and then getting to put it out and getting people to receive that experimentation in the way that they have is just incredible. So I think we're just keen to keep pushing for more, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like my dream probably doesn't sound that sexy, but it's to grow what we're doing sustainably, in a way that my dream for us is not the boom.
Yeah.
Because I think that's terrifying and often overwhelming and often kind of steals the joy. Not that it's ever happened to us, so I don't really know, but that's what it seems like. It can be a lot. And often you lose that connection to community because you go from being able to have a two-way conversation to having too many fans to be able to actually sustain that relationship. So I think my dream for us is to just keep moving at a pace that the community grows around us in a way that we can maintain, and we just get better and better at connecting with those people and never losing that intimacy, I guess, that real world thing around it. So I mean, we would love to be playing huge festivals and touring globally, and I hope that over the next few years it keeps going and gets to that point, because we've done some awesome shows around the world and just want to keep going back and keep doing that. But I always want it to feel real and good and connected for people, So I think fame and a project of that size is almost kind of unappealing to me because I just don't associate it with connection, I guess.
Yeah.
And I also think it's cool hearing that, to kind of, I guess for you guys to take a step back and listen to those answers and be like, our dream is kind of to continue what we're already doing. How special is that? So congratulations, because you're smashing it. So keep on smashing it.
Thank you. Stream Like an Actress now,
If you want to get involved, just have a listen. We'll reply to the DM.
Join the fan community. Love it. No, awesome. Thank you guys for chatting, and thanks Fort Green on Karanga Happy Road for having us here.
Shout out Fort Green. Thank you so much. Such a nice chat.